Okay, so in this module, we're going to look into some titles, transitions, and effects. So let's first jump into transitions. You go up here and you select transitions. We made the manual transitions using the keyframes. And this is a very useful way of learning about transitions, because this way you can do as you want. If you want to zoom at the same time, do a fade out and do a cropping, you can do all of those at the same time. With the transitions, you're limited to what the transition has to offer. So let's say we're going to put a new clip over here. Let's just go back into media pool and I'll grab this clip and I'll put it at the end. And now I have this passage over here and I want to make a transition over here. So I'll go into my transitions and you can see you have all the transitions here. Some of them are just for wedding purposes or whatever. Some of them you're not going to use because they're spiral wipe, whatever it is. It's not too cool for this. But let's say we want to open up like this. And you can want to use the center wipe. You just need to drag this into the middle over there. And you can see it didn't do anything. And I'll try again and I'll drag it down here. And the reason it's not doing anything is because you see it's flashing red. This means there's not enough time to make a transition. Once you're thinking about the transition, and if you look at the transition, as the transition is going on, you need a little bit of video from the first video over that passage, and you need a little bit of the beginning of the other video to make the transition. So what you need to do is very simple. You just remove a little bit, remove another bit from there, and now you removed a little bit from the end of that clip, a little bit at the beginning, and now you can do your transition. If you just drag it now over there, you can see you can drag it there or you can drag it here. And once you're dragging, you can see that you're going to put over at the beginning of that one or in the middle of both or in the beginning of that. You can see it's not available. So there's only one way to do it. So let's just put it in the middle. This way it's just doing the transition at the middle. And as you can see here, you press play and you have your transition. You can go through all of them. Maybe you find one that you like the most. If you want, for example, to use just a blur dissolve, this one is pretty cool. You can just drag and over there and you replace that one. You cannot use multiple transitions at the same time. If you want to use that, it will be composition within moving, and this is why I usually teach within using the keyframes first, because within the keyframes you can actually use an effect to make a transition. You can create that transition with the blur and with all the options, and you have that manually set up for the transition, better than these ones that are pre-made. It's limited to what they have to offer, but some of them for this quick video editing, they're fine. Let's say we want to do this faster. So what you need to do is just go ahead on the transition, make it smaller. Just grab the end of it and make it smaller. This way the transition is much faster. As you can see here, now it's just like my computer is jumping. Okay. It's rendering something. Maybe it's because of the recording of the screen, but as you can see here, it's making this fast transition with the blur. Some of them are heavier than other ones. Let's say we use just a simple a star. Okay. You see, just a star, fast star. Maybe it's not too bad just to use a star like that. So this is the use of the transitions. Just go ahead and experiment with them, all of them. It's pretty useful. Some of them have options. Once you select the transition, you see on the inspector you have transition and you have options. For example, here I have my star. I have my star over here. Let's say I want to change it to something else. I have a star, a square iris, eye iris, and all of these options are pretty much what you have here. So let's say barn door, it's already there. Let's say a box. Let's say a cross clock wipe. And all you need to do is changed over there, and now you have a clock wipe. Like it was later on the day and you made that transition. This is pretty much it. All you need to do. Also, you have crossfade for audio. We'll jump into audio in a little bit, but it will make the transition for the audio also. So jumping from transitions, we'll jump into titles. As you can see here, you have the option titles. You have a couple of options here. You have titles, the basic ones, and you have these Fusion titles. The Fusion ones, that means you can actually go into Fusion and make changes. We're not going into those. We're just going to use these simple ones. So let's say in the beginning of the clip, we want to use some graphics. What you could do is grab this, for example, text plus, and I'll drag it and put it at the beginning. Now I have some text, then I have my image. Let's say the text is taking too long, so I can grab just the end of it and put it over there. Now my text is just this, and then goes into this. And actually you can go back to transitions, and let's say we want to use a cross dissolve between these two. So now what I have, let me just put it smaller. What I have is from text, I'll jump into my video. Okay, so this is pretty simple to use, and you jump it like this. So what options do we have for the text? If you click on the text, if you go on to inspector, you have a bunch of options. So you have your custom title. Let's say this is Web Summit Day 1. You can press enter, day, and press again, day 1. We'll do it like this. I'll select the 1. I'll increase the size. But you can see you cannot increase the size of an individual one. So what you need to do is create 3 texts. Simple as that. Create one on top of the other, and it's fine. You can edit each one, and the background is transparent, so it's fine. You can go one on top of the other. So let's say we have this like this. The size, the tracking, day 1. I don't like this font. I want to change the font. I want to use my company's font or whatever it is, or my logo font, and I'll use another font that I have here or something like that, whatever it is, and it's fine. And I actually have this option that it's very cool, that it's the right on. You can see right on here. So what we could do is we can utilize that keyframe thing and press the keyframe, and right about at the middle, I'll say it's already done. And as you saw, I didn't actually create the second keyframe, but as I move the time and I make a change on the value, it automatically creates a keyframe. So what I have now is just typing in day 1 and transition. How cool is that? Very simple, and you have your text. Also, what you can do, let's say we want to put some text over here. Let's say we actually want to do a trick where we have some text behind those videos. So what we need to do, we'll grab these two. As you can see, I just click on the gray part, it's like those two, and I'll move them up. But because I don't have anything on the bottom, it won't allow me to do. So I need to grab first a title. So I'll grab a text, I'll put it between there. Okay, so I'll grab these two and I'll put it on top. Like this, and you can see now it has this like gray area. I'm going to delete it, and I'll increase the text to fit the clips like this, just so I can have my transition at the same time again. Okay, so I have my clip, and over there you can already see the custom title over there in the background. So what we need to do, let's turn off over here the video so I can see my title. You can see they are turned off over there, and I'm going to grab my text and I'll say people walking something, whatever it is, and I'll put the text over here, people walking, and let me see if I fit the middle actually over there, that division. So I'll turn this on, turn that on, exactly at the middle. Great eye. So as you can see, it's like this. So what happens is now I have something like this, people walking, and it's at the middle. It's all about creativity, and you can be very creative with this and make some movements and everything. And you have your titles. You have this title to scroll like credits. You have this middle lower third, so it's just for names or naming someone like this, or on the left. All of this is customizable. You can select the text, and you have a bunch of options over here. As you can see here, you only see audio track. You select the text, you can see the text plus, and you have all these options: tab spacing, advanced controls. You have so many things that you could do. You can go into layout. You have point, center, Z. You can animate whatever it is. You can animate characters, shading, create some shading on the text. Actually, let me just show you the shading because this is quite useful. Let's put some text over here on the top. On this case, I'll put it on the top over here. And I have this title, but as you can see, because of the image in the background, it doesn't read well. Let's say we want to put a bigger font. Let's select an impact one or something like that. It's really bigger. Where's the impact? Here we go, impact font. Let's make it bigger. Okay, we can read it a little bit better, but still we need some stroking on the outside. So you go into shading, and you can see you have select element, and this is where you change the color. Let's say we want to change it into this just popped up my color window over here, and I want to change the color. Just go into there, but I want to leave it at white. You have all these options in the MacBook. On the PC it's a little different, but mine is using this. Let's say we want to create the stroke. As you can see here on the appearance, you can select the stroke. But if you select the stroke now, your element 1 is just a stroke. So what I need to do is, okay, element 1 is just the fill color. I'll go into element 2, I'll press enable, and now I select the stroke, and I have the thickness of it, and I'll select, for example, black. Now I have a stroke like this. Okay, so now you can see much better the text. It's not doing anything with the background, and it's very readable like this. All right, that's pretty much about text. Let's jump into effects. And this last part of effects, what you need to do is go into effects, and you have all these options here. You have a bunch of effects already on the software. If you have the studio version of DaVinci, you have even more effects. Some of them like this. Some of them might show up like this already. Actually, the effects, they're already here. But you can see on my laptop, I don't have the studio version, only on my Mac over there. And here, on purpose for this course, I use the free version so that you can have access. It's free, so it's very useful. And the ones that don't work with the free version, you have this option saying DaVinci Resolve Studio. So you cannot use lens flare, you cannot use the halotation, you can use the Gaussian blur, you can use the blocks blur. There's a lot of effects that you can use. Let's say we want to use some binoculars. You can preview the effect just by moving your mouse over it. Okay. For example, this digital glitch, very used. This has been used for so many people use this, and it's free. And you have the CCTV, like it was a capture camera like this, or a DCLR. You can see the DCLR is just DSLR. It's just not for vertical, but let's say we want to use not night vision, but let's just do video call 1. Okay, as you can see, video call, it's similar to a video call. So what I do, I'll drag this into my clip, and now my clip is at video call. Okay, so let's say we want to use this, and we want to make some changes on the effect. As you can see here, we have the transform, the cropping, and everything. All you need to do is go on the tab of effects. And on effects, you have all the controls over here. The position, the zoom. You can zoom into the image to make a transition to get out of the call. You can actually move, so you have the button color, the shadow of the screen over there. The alpha is the transparency, and some options that you have here. You also have some settings that, but this video call actually doesn't have too many options. Let's say I want to delete it, just go onto over there. You can turn it off and you won't see it, but you won't see the clip. All you need to do is go over there, you see the trash can, you delete the filter, and that's it. You're back to normal. So let's say we want to use some okay, not real light. Real light is for studio. Okay, let's say we're zooming in the image a little bit and I want to use some sharpen. So sharpen will sharpen the image a little bit. You have the reached a limitation for DaVinci. Okay, so this one actually it's for DaVinci Resolve. This is the option for buying. Not yet, I don't want to buy because I already bought it, so I don't want it to use it here. So let's just remove. You can see the effect, but you cannot use it. It will give you this watermark. So let's remove it. Let's use some emboss, not emboss. Okay, some mirrors. Let's say we want to use the effect. You just have to go through all the effects and see whatever it does, because we don't have time for this course to look all into them. But I'll give you just a couple. So mirror, it's a cool effect. Let's say I don't want anything from this. I could use on the mirrors, I can use the angle here. You can see, you can do some cool effects. Or I can even open up the position and I can make a transition like this. So you can see all of them have keyframes. So it's just play around a little bit with this and you're done with your effects.